My daughter, please remember where you're coming from, oh. Don't follow bad friends.
Mama, I will make you proud.
Hello, Mama. I don't know what thing they do me. Mama, big snakes, they come out from my body.
That's not the beginning. Let's rewind. But please make sure you hit the subscribe button, like, comment, and share. I am Christy, Midnight Tales. In their street, poverty was not a stranger. It was a neighbor. It lived 2 houses away, and sometimes it slept inside their room. Isioma grew up in a one-room house with a zinc roof that leaked whenever rain decided to visit. When it rained at night, her mother would place buckets around the room like decorations. If the rain was heavy, they wouldn't sleep. They would sit upright, backs against the wall, waiting for morning. Her father had died when she was still small, too small to understand why people wore black and cried. All she knew was that after that day, laughter reduced in their house. Her mother became both mother and father. Every morning, before the sun even stretched, Isioma would hear the soft sound of her mother's wrapper tying around her waist. Isioma, wake up, let's go. They sold banana at the junction, not inside a shop, not inside a market store, just by the roadside. Her mother would carry the basin on her head. Isioma would carry the small wooden stool and nylon bags. Sometimes they walked in silence. Sometimes her mother hummed worship songs under her breath. Isioma was different from other girls her age. While some were learning makeup and talking about boyfriends, she was learning how to arrange bananas in neat pyramids so they would look attractive. After school, while other children ran home to rest, Isioma would change from her uniform and rush back to the junction. "Fine banana, sweet banana," she would call out with a soft but steady voice. Sometimes customers would price the banana like they were pricing gold. "Reduce it now." Some days they sold well. Some days they returned home with almost everything unsold. Those were the hardest nights. They would boil gari and drink it silently. But Isioma never complained. In church, she was always at the front, singing, smiling, praying like someone who believed tomorrow would answer her. But at night, when the lights were off, she would whisper into the darkness, "I want to go to university." It wasn't just a wish, it was her escape plan. She studied under kerosene lamp when there was no light. The smoke would enter her eyes and make them red, but she refused to stop. She topped her class more than once. Teachers noticed her brilliance. One day, her principal called her mother. "Madam, this girl is very intelligent. Don't let poverty stop her." Her mother smiled, but inside her heart, fear sat down. University? With what money? Application forms cost money. Transport cost money. Acceptance fee cost money. Everything cost money. But Isioma did not back down. She started saving from the banana sales. Every day, her mother would give her small change. "Keep this." Sometimes it was 50 naira, sometimes 100, sometimes nothing. But she kept it. She stopped buying snacks in school, stopped buying new clothes during Christmas. Even when her classmates laughed at her old bag, she just smiled. "Let them laugh," she told herself. "One day I will wear better." Months turned into a year. Rain, sun, harmattan. They kept selling, kept saving. There were days Isioma's hand hurt from carrying heavy bunches of banana. Days when customers insulted them, but she endured. Because every night, she counted the money in a small nylon she hid inside her pillow. One night, after they returned from the junction, her mother sat down and poured her own savings on the bed. Coins, 1 note, carefully folded cash. Isioma brought her own nylon. They both looked at each other. "Let's count it," her mother said softly. They counted once, counted twice, counted again. Silence filled the room. Then her mother's hands began to shake. "Isioma, it's complete." The acceptance fee, the first payment, the beginning of something bigger than their street. For a moment, Isioma couldn't speak. All the mornings at the junction, all the insults, all the gari nights, all the sacrifices, they flashed before her eyes. Tears gathered, but she didn't let them fall. Instead, she stood up slowly, looked at her mother, and smiled. "Yes." Her voice trembled but stayed strong. "Yes." She held the money tightly to her chest. "I will finally go to school." And in that moment, neither of them knew that the same university they fought so hard for would become the beginning of her mother's greatest regret. The day the admission letter arrived, her mother held the paper like it was gold. Her hands were shaking. She didn't even understand half of what was written there, but she understood one thing. Her daughter was going to the university. That evening, they didn't sell banana. They sat outside their small house. The sky was orange. Her mother kept touching Isioma's face like she was afraid she would disappear. "My daughter," she said softly, "school will test you. Poverty will follow you there, but never sell your body to survive. God that brought you there will sustain you." Isioma nodded. She believed it. When it was time to leave, her mother packed her clothes in a small bag. 2 wrappers, 3 blouses, 1 pair of sandals. She added roasted groundnut and dried gari inside the nylon. Then she brought out money. Not plenty, but it was everything. "I sold extra yesterday," her mother lied. Isioma knew it was not extra sales, it was sacrifice. She hugged her mother so tight that day. She didn't know that was the last time she would leave home with such innocence. University life was beautiful at first. The tall gates, the crowd of students, the noise, the freedom. She smiled the whole first week. "I made it," she kept whispering to herself. But dreams are different from reality. School dues were higher than she imagined. Faculty dues, departmental dues, handouts, manuals, hostel maintenance fees, clearance fees. Everywhere she turned, money. Her mother had sent what she could, but it was not enough. Isioma refused to give up. If her mother could sell banana at the junction, she could sell banana at the school gate. So she started. Every morning before lectures, she would arrange her tray neatly. She would shout softly, "Sweet banana, fresh banana." Some students bought, most walked past. But the truth is, a business without support is like chaff in the wind. She had only determination, and determination does not always pay bills. Then there was Dumebi, her roommate. Dumebi also claimed she came from a poor home, but she didn't live like it. Different cars dropped her at the hostel almost every evening. Different men, sometimes older, sometimes young, sometimes mild, you could tell by the ring. They would press envelopes into her hands, sometimes cash openly. Her bills were always paid, her hair always neat, her phone always new. Isioma tried not to look, but she noticed. One night, while Isioma was calculating how to complete her faculty dues, Dumebi laughed loudly while counting crisp notes. "Baby girl," Dumebi said casually, "poverty is a choice in this school." Isioma didn't respond. She remembered her mother's voice. Never sell your body to survive. She held on to that advice like a rope, but ropes become thin when hunger keeps pulling at them. The first test she missed broke her heart. She stood outside the hall while others wrote. "Go and clear your dues," they told her. She begged, nothing. Second test, same thing. Each time she walked back to the hostel, her chest felt heavy. At night, she cried quietly so Dumebi wouldn't hear. Sometimes she wondered, did I make a mistake coming here? She missed home. She missed the junction. She missed the simplicity of poverty, not this complicated one with rules and deadlines and humiliation. Exams approached. Fears sat in her stomach like a stone. Her mother sent half of the remaining fees. Half. But in her school, without full payment, you would not be allowed to write exams. Isioma ran from office to office. "Please, sir, I will balance it. Please, ma, my mother is trying." Some lecturers looked at her with pity. Others looked at her with something else. One of them closed his office door slowly. "You're a beautiful girl," he said. "If you cooperate, I can help." She froze. Another said the same thing in different words. "Cooperate. Visit me at night. We can sort it out." She left those offices shaking. She sold more bananas, stayed longer at the gate, but banana profit cannot compete with tuition deadlines. Exam day came. Students rushed into halls. She stood at the entrance, heart pounding. The invigilator checked the list. Her name was marked not cleared. "I paid half," she whispered. "Full payment only." She watched her classmates enter. She watched Dumebi walking confidently, chewing gum, smiling. Isioma stood there until the doors closed. She didn't cry immediately. She just stood there, numb. By evening, she knew. She had carried over all her courses, all of them. One whole semester wasted. She called her mother that night, but when her mother's tired voice answered happily, "My graduate," Isioma couldn't say the truth. She lied. "I'm fine, Mama." After the call, she broke down completely. That night, Dumebi came back late. She dropped money on her bed carelessly. "Life is simple. You're just stubborn." Isioma stared at the ceiling. Her mother's advice echoed again, but this time something inside her was cracking. Poverty had followed her to school. Pride had cost her exams. Faith had not paid her fees, and the world was not kind to girls without money. That was the night she made up her mind. If the system would not let her survive the right way, she would survive the other way. She didn't know that the decision she was about to make would not just change her life, it would ruin it forever. The next morning was a Sunday morning. Isioma, on a normal day, would have gotten ready for church. But on this day, she sat up on her bed thinking when Dumebi came out from the bathroom. Isioma said, "I've made up my mind." Dumebi looked up surprised. "Made up your mind on what?" "I want you to show me the way. I am ready to do whatever it takes to make money." Then Dumebi smiled. "Good girl. Welcome to the club." Isioma's heart beat loudly, but she didn't take her words back. Poverty had embarrassed her enough. 2 days later, Dumebi dressed her up, not like a student, like an investment. Stand straight, Dumebi said, adjusting her hair. They entered a private lounge in town. That was where she met him, an Alhaji. Not just any Alhaji, a gold dealer with businesses in Dubai, Kuwait, and Abuja. His presence was calm but heavy, the kind of man whose wristwatch could sponsor a semester. He studied Isioma carefully, not lustfully, calculatingly. Within the twinkle of an eye, everything shifted. Alerts started entering. Transfers that made her dizzy. School fees she had been avoiding, paid immediately. The parental dues, cleared. Hostel contribution, settled. She even paid ahead for the next session. Not only that, when 2 of her classmates were about to miss exams because of unpaid fees, Isioma paid for them, just like that. They hugged her and called her Angel. If only they knew. Her banana tray at the school gate quietly disappeared. No more standing under the sun. No more calculating profits of 500 naira. Then one afternoon, a driver came to campus. Alhaji sent this for you. A car. Students gathered. Whispers filled the air. Isioma stood there pretending to be normal, but inside, she was shaking. She was living the life her banana business could never afford to give her. Designer bags, better hostel room, soft life. But she didn't tell her mother. She couldn't afford to. Whenever her mother called, she would step outside before answering. My daughter, how is school? I'm fine, Mama. You sound happy. Yes, Mama. God is helping. The word always felt heavy in her mouth now. But one thing confused her. The Alhaji never made love to her. Not once. No attempt, no pressure. He took her out, sent money, bought gifts, but physically, nothing. One evening back in the hostel, she faced Dumebi. I don't understand. Understand what? He hasn't slept with me. Dumebi paused. Then slowly smiled. Girl, you are lucky, oh. Hold your Alhaji tight. But how? After all this money? Dumebi laughed. Some men like to take their time. Don't be ungrateful. Isioma tried to relax, but deep down, something felt structured, like there was a timetable she hadn't seen yet. Then few days later, her phone rang. It was him. Good evening, Isioma. Good evening, sir. I have arranged something. Her heartbeat changed rhythm. What is it, sir? We are meeting in Maldives. It is time, he said. Time for us to be together properly. Flight arrangements will be sent to you. Prepare yourself. The call ended. Isioma sat there staring at her phone. Maldives. And then those words echoed in her head. It is time. Why did it sound scheduled? Why did it feel like an appointment? Why was there a timetable for something like that? But she quickly buried the thought. Maybe she was overthinking. And as she lay back on her bed that night, staring at the ceiling, the question she refused to answer lingered quietly in her chest. Why does it feel like something is about to begin, not end? Isioma's hands were shaking as she fastened her seatbelt. The plane doors closed. Her heart was beating louder than the engine. This was her first time leaving Nigeria, first time entering a plane, first time doing something she couldn't tell her mother about. She quickly dialed Dumebi. Dumebi, I'm scared. Dumebi laughed softly from the other side. Isioma, calm down. It's just one night. One night. You'll come back rich. Stop behaving like a village girl. Isioma swallowed hard. One night? Exactly. Alaji is a big man. You are safe. The call ended. But her fear didn't end. As the plane took off, she closed her eyes and whispered, God, please forgive me. Mama, forgive me. Her mother's face flashed in her mind. Her small banana stall, her mother's cracked hands, her words, my daughter, never let money push you somewhere your spirit cannot stand. Isioma forced the thought away. This is for you, Mama. This is for us. Somewhere in the air, she slept. And that was when it started. She was standing in darkness, cold, alone. Suddenly, she heard something dragging on the floor. She turned. 2 red eyes stared at her. A gigantic python began moving towards her. She tried to run, but her legs were frozen. The snake opened its mouth wide. Isioma! She jerked awake. Sweat covered her entire body. Her heart was racing violently. And right in front of her stood the air hostess smiling. Welcome to Maldives, ma'am. Isioma looked around. People were standing up calmly. No snake, no darkness, just passengers. It was a dream, she whispered. But why did it feel so real? When she stepped outside the airport, a black SUV was already waiting. Her name was written on a small board. The car drove in silence, straight to a luxurious hotel, the kind she had only seen on Instagram. Her heart was beating again. When she entered the hotel, Alaji wasn't there. A receptionist smiled. "Welcome, madam. Your room is ready. Room 707. She entered. The room was massive, beautiful, but strangely cold. She locked the door, took a long shower, put on the silk robe provided, and waited. She called Alaji. "The number you are calling is not reachable." She called again, still not connecting. Her fear returned, but tiredness overcame her. She lay down and slept. Then, sss, her eyes opened slowly. The sound was inside the room. Sss. She sat up and froze. At the foot of the bed, a massive python, bigger than anything she had ever seen in her life. Its body coiled slowly, its tongue flicking. Her blood turned cold. She jumped off the bed, screaming, "Help! Help!" But the walls swallowed her voice, soundproof. Her phone began to ring. Her hands were shaking as she answered. "Alaji, there's a snake in this room, a very big python. It wants to bite me." There was silence. Then Alaji's calm voice. "Don't worry." Her heart stopped. "Alaji, what are you—" The call ended. Her phone screen went black, battery dead. She was alone. The snake lifted its head. Its eyes were staring directly at her. It moved, slowly, towards her. Isioma backed against the wall, tears pouring uncontrollably. "Mama, Mama, please." The python struck. She screamed, but no sound came out. She tried to shout again. Nothing. Her voice had disappeared. All she could hear now were voices echoing. "Isioma, Isioma, Isioma!" Water splashed on her face. She jerked violently. She was on a desk, her classroom, her classmates surrounding her. "Are you okay? You were shouting 'snake, snake!'" Her body was soaked with water, her heart pounding. She looked around. School, desks, whiteboard, students. She touched her body. No bite marks, no hotel, no Maldives, no Alaji. Just a dream, a terrifying dream. She exhaled deeply. Jesus! Her hands were still shaking. It was just a dream. She stood up weakly, and then she peeped outside the classroom window and froze. Dumebi was outside, smiling, signaling her with her hand. "Come." Isioma walked slowly out. "What is it?" she asked. Dumebi grinned. "There's one Alaji I want to introduce you to." Isioma's blood ran cold. For a second, the sound returned in her head. Sss. She stepped back immediately. "Holy Ghost fire!" Dumebi frowned. "What is wrong with you?" Isioma raised her hand dramatically. "No be me you see, abeg. Carry your Alaji and go." She turned and ran back into class. Her classmates stared, but she didn't care. She sat down, breathing heavily. This time, she understood. It was not just a dream. It was a warning. Young girls, not every opportunity is a blessing. Some doors open with gold, but inside is darkness. Quick money can cost you your destiny. If a man can't introduce you proudly in the daytime, don't follow him into the night. If it sounds too easy, it is probably too dangerous. Isioma almost traded her soul for one night of luxury, but God showed her what was waiting. Not every girl will get that second chance. Choose wisely, because sometimes the snake is not in the dream, it's in real life. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this beautiful story. If you did, kindly support us by subscribing to our channel. Your support helps us to do more. I am Christy Midnight Tales. Till we see again in our next story. Bye.